Do you think I'll make a soldier? Do you think I'll make a soldier of the cross? Bernice Johnson Reagan says that as long as you sing, the song maintains the very presence, the very air of freedom, and it becomes your territory. African Americans served proudly in the Civil War, although the regiments were segregated, making up about 10% of the Union forces by the war's end. Black soldiers brought with them to the war their unique pride, their determination, their musical traditions and songs. The songs and the music were often improvised, and they were passed one to another throughout the regiment. They marched, they fought, they sang. This is not one of the songs that they sang, but I want to leave this as a contribution to you as I close. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom is a constant struggle. They say that freedom, I'm a mom like my grandma used to do, is a constant struggle. I've been struggling so long. We've been struggling so long. We must be free.
It is my deepest honor to welcome both Gregory Miller, Chair-elect to the Art Museum Board of Trustees, and Carol Miller, Chair of the U.S. Colored Troops Public Art Project Committee. From Philadelphia, Greg and Carol moved to the Wilmington area in 2016, continuing without dropping a beat, a life deeply devoted to support of education and to public service. For the past 3 years, theirs is the leadership which has brought us to this day. Join me in welcoming Greg and Carol to the podium.
Good morning. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Cameron Art Museum, I truly think we have a glorious day out here. This is fantastic. Welcome. I'd really like to thank our major sponsors. The PNC Bank, I'm not sure where their representatives are, but PNC Bank, thank you very much. The T. Smith Reynolds Foundation. And you probably heard of them, and you've seen them on PBS stations. And Maurice, thank you very much. One of the other names I wanted to mention had to do with this teachable moment, because this is truly a teachable moment. And Chris Vonville, the work that he did in researching the history and finding out about all of the folks that were involved in this particular battle. We can't thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You think about these young men that were in the Battle of Forks Road, the U.S. Colored troops, and they don't have a fancy name like the Harlem Hellfighters. They don't. We don't know them like we know the Tuskegee Airmen or the Montfort Point Marines. But they might, after this day, have a name that we can kind of think about and bring forward, because they served with pride and dignity and fought for their freedom. And because of that, we can all stand here. When we think about the opportunities and the visionary foresight of even the Cameron family, because this site very well could have been bulldozed over and we would have never known. So with that, I'd like to say thank you again from the Board of Trustees. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. All the contributors, all the folks that were involved in the fundraising. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I guess it's good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to take this moment to thank a group of amazing people who was on the fundraising committee. And I know that some of you are here. And if you are here, could you please come to the front so we can publicly thank you for the work that you've done on this committee. Well, they're coming. Yes. Okay. This is not the entire committee, but I'd like to introduce them because it's very important, because they work very hard selling tickets, selling pavers, and getting the word out to the people about this day. And this day is a glorious day. It's the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be happy in it today. Look at the sun. You know, the sun is out here. So I'm going to first start with Simone Allen. Her husband, Fred Allen, not here. Ava Baker. Renee Lawson. Ruth, she came in from Baltimore. Ruth Louie. And Sheila Cannon Santos. Most of you people from Williston know, and from the NAACP, Russell Hewitt. Him and his wife could not be here today, but I said to Russell this morning that we will acknowledge you because he was a force on this committee, as well as Promise Robinson. So I just want to thank the committee, and from my heart, please stay here. I appreciate all of you always going the extra mile. And your contribution to this project is praiseworthy. Each of you have played a part in making history to tell the story of the U.S. colored troops. We, the community, would like to extend our gratitude to all the donors of your sponsorship for the USCT Public Sculpture Project. Without your support, this project could not been made possible. And I thank you all. And most importantly, I also like to thank the Cameron Art Museum staff and Brennan, Executive Director. Heather Wilson. We appreciate you for your vision in commemorating the USCT and educating the community about their contribution. Last but not least, what can I say? Thank you, Stephen Hayes, the artist. The battle here of Forks Road. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out, because this day have made me really happy. It took a long time, but I am so glad that we were able to be here together and share in this occasion. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
newly re-elected Mayor Bill Saffo. Yes, oh, Bill, they're here. Fellow Wilmington native, Mayor Saffo. I can't speak for you, but growing up here in Wilmington, I never heard one word about United States colored groups. How about you, Bill? Fellow Hoggard graduate. Thank you so much for being here with us.
It is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful day in the city of Wilmington, North Carolina. And this is a tremendous event for our community. And every time I come out, there's a cannon firing. And then the last time I was out here, they were having a pitch battle between Confederates on this side and the Union on this side, and you couldn't see in front of you. But it was remarkable because it kind of gave you the sense of, you know, what it felt like to be in a battle with all that gunpowder that was flying around here. I also want to recognize Chris Fondle here. Chris is our historian, our local historian here. He probably knows more about the Civil War history in this area than anybody alive. And I know that he was very instrumental in persuading Mr. Cameron to preserve these works. And we owe you a great debt of gratitude for that, Chris. Thank you. You know, the Civil War, which I believe is the most important act in American history. It is the outstanding event in American history. America, during the Civil War, was really at its adolescence. It really had not really taken form as to what kind of a nation we were going to be. And that kind of country emerged from the Civil War, not the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War gave us the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. It broke us the freedom it gave us from England. But it was the actual Civil War that really defined us. It said what we were going to be, and it said what we were not going to be. And it drifted away from the Southern Virginia influence to the New England Midwestern influence. And we're still telling the story of this epic event in American history over 150 years later. Today, another story of that war is being told in this monument of the U.S. colored troops done by Stephen Hayes. It tells us the story of bravery and the power of freedom. It shows us that bondage of any sort will never prevail. These men helped to define what it means to be an American. They were part of a generation that told the world what this country was going to stand for. And we owe them a great debt of gratitude. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Saffo. New Hanover County Commissioner Jonathan Barfield has been right by our side with reenactment events where we learn more increasingly each year about the Battle of Forks Road ever since 2006. And used to, back in the day, we would give Commissioner Barfield a musket, and we would give Mayor Saffo a musket that they gleefully would fire right across the bow of the podium. And by 2015, we said, nah, no more. But still, you cannot keep Commissioner Barfield nor Mayor Saffo away from anything to do with this story. It is our honor that you've returned. Thank you, Commissioner Barfield.
Good morning, Wilmington. Good morning. What a great day to be in the city of Wilmington in the county of New Hanover. Every now and again, and it comes very rarely, you get a wow moment for your community. And for me, this is one of those wow moments. To witness what we see here on the grounds today. Yes. Look around and you see the multitude of faces, you recognize that we are truly a melting pot here in our community. But it started with folks like the colored troops fighting for their freedom. You know, when I think of this great artist, Stephen Hayes, I am marveled by your artistic genius. With his gifted hands to be able to come in and put together something so magnificent out here as well as on the inside of the Cameron Art Museum. It takes a true genius to make these kind of things happen. And I would encourage you all to embrace this moment for what it is. I can only imagine what he went through as he had to delve deep inside his own soul to recreate what we're going to see here today, to recognize that there's pain involved when you look at what these folks went through. You know, as a pastor prepares their sermon, they're always looking for what words should I shape or name this sermon? And the perfect name came for Stephen, which is boundless. Recognizing these men fought for their freedom. And they said, we will no longer be bound. We're now boundless in this country. We will fight for our freedom, declare that we'll all be free one day. And for me, it's because of men like them that I'm able to be a county commissioner in this great county, because they fought for our freedom, that I can indeed stand here and serve you all today. So as I walk through Halliburton Park, there's a Boy Scout who did a senior project, and he actually recreated one of the mounds there for the Battle at Forks Road. He tells me there was a battle there. When I come here, I recognize there were colored troops, there were black folks, there were African Americans that fought for their freedom, and they fought for my freedom. These are hallowed grounds for me. You all please embrace this for what it is. May God bless you all.
As previously mentioned, Bruce Cameron, Mr. Bruce, as he was affectionately known, walked these grounds through many years, knowing it was a Civil War site, thanks to Chris Fomble, but really had no idea the story of the land. Cameron Art Museum's Deputy Director, Heather Wilson, has worked with all her might to turn this earth and reveal its stories. For 16 years, she has dreamt of bringing Forks Road to life through a public work of art, seeding our educational mission in both art and history. Since 2019, through her leadership, to include major grant writing, direction of the USCT committee, organization of CAM's first telethon, leading the paver campaign, the research project, securing not only national but international media coverage, coordination and care of all donors and volunteers, and even commissioning new performative works of art. And if that's not enough, curation of all special programming and donor events. She has led in the realization of the creation of Boundless. Heather, I carry your violin case.
Thank you, Anne. It is the story and the humanity of these United States colored troops that has captivated all of us at the museum from the beginning. Stories of men like James Bales, who escaped slavery in April of 1861 when he was only 15 years old and joined the 5th USCT at age 18 to fight for his future and the future of those he held dear. James was a carpenter when he enlisted. He was prepared to fight and to die if necessary for freedom, for his freedom, and for the freedom of his descendants, for the freedom of his family, for the freedom of the people that he loved. His arm and elbow were operated on as a result of a wound he suffered here at Forks Road, where we now stand. He fought bravely for freedom, and this is vitally important to who we are as a community and to our future. These men were fighting to break the binds that bound them. Their fight, as we know, is not over. This is the continuing story of Boundless. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to Rebecca Quinn Wolf from PNC Bank. The sculpture today is presented by PNC Bank, and without their funding, this would not be possible. But also without Rebecca Quinn Wolf's leadership, her guidance, her friendship, and her care about this project, none of this would be possible. She has been a steadfast supporter of our work at CAM from the beginning, and we are so grateful to Rebecca and to everyone at PNC Bank. Rebecca Quinn Wolf.
Amazing. I am so privileged to be here with you all today, standing on this sacred ground. And while this occasion represents the much anticipated culmination of an artistic vision, it also marks a new chapter in the preservation of a legacy and a significant milestone for our region. When PNC committed to help bring Boundless to life over 2 years ago, we knew we were embarking on an important journey. In the months that followed, the evolution of this project took on new meaning against the backdrop of a changing world. At PNC, we believe education can be a great unifier. We are grateful the museum shares this conviction and for the opportunity to collaborate on this important work. Learning about the past is foundational to achieving a more equitable and inclusive future for all. It is our hope that this sculpture will inspire dialogue about the Battle of Forks Road and how it shaped our region, and that the discussions it sparks will help lead to further understanding and progress. On behalf of PNC, I'd like to thank Ann and Heather, who brought this idea to us over 2 years ago. And serendipitously, 5 months prior to that, I had the opportunity to meet Stephen Hayes at a pop-up gallery in downtown Wilmington, introduced by our friend Mike Williams. And it was just serendipitous how all the stars aligned and this came together. And everyone at the museum for its efforts to inform our community and visitors about this battle, celebrate those who served, and reflect on timeless relevance of this consequential historical event. And finally, to my friend Stephen Hayes, your incredible vision and talent bringing this incredible sculpture to life, simply moving and emotional. And I stood out here last night seeing the sculpture lit up, and I was chatting with a few people and said, this by far is in the top 3 projects I've ever worked on in my history and career working in the community. And that's just tremendous. And it's an honor, Stephen, to work with you on this project. Thank you so much to everyone. Have a great day, and thank you.
So it is my honor now to introduce Maurice Mo Green from the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation. You may have heard of the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation and their funding for social justice causes throughout the state of North Carolina. They took a chance on us with their Inclusive Public Arts Grant, and we are so grateful. Z. Smith Reynolds has been a steadfast supporter and a steadfast partner in the process of Boundless coming to fruition. I am so grateful for the leadership of Z. Smith, and so grateful to Brenda Miller Holmes. She's here somewhere. I got to know Brenda throughout the course of this project. We talked monthly, and her leadership and her guidance and the leadership and guidance of Z. Smith have been invaluable. Thank you so much, and welcome, Maurice Mo Green.
On the way over here last night, and again this morning, I passed the high school, Hoggard High School, as it were. And on its marquee, it said, "Freedom is not free. Thank a veteran." Freedom is never free. Thank a veteran. And so I thought to myself, who do we think of when we think of veterans? Who do we stop to think? Who do we honor? I am honored to serve as the executive director for the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation. I am joined today by trustee David Neal, by life trustee Jane Patterson, by my colleague and assistant director Nora Carr, and by our consultant, Brenda Miller-Holmes. I certainly want to thank the Louise Wells Cameron Art Museum for inviting me to speak for just a few moments at this wonderful gathering. The Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation is an 85-year-old foundation that focuses solely on North Carolina and is dedicated to improving the lives of all North Carolinians. In 2018, the foundation launched All for North Carolina, its framework for grant making and learning. One of the major strategies of that framework is something we call exploratory visionary ideas. One of the first initiatives under that strategy is the Inclusive Public Art Initiative. The foundation was looking for a way to respond to the escalating issues of race and monuments in and around 2018. The Inclusive Public Initiative was intended to share stories of diversity, equality, inclusion, and equity as they relate to the people and places of North Carolina, especially those whose stories often go untold. Our hope was that this effort would spark community conversations that can result in a sharer and fuller understanding of our common history, our common bonds as North Carolinians. When the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation trustees made the decision to establish a grant opportunity for the Inclusive Public Art Initiative, we never could have imagined that we would see such an incredible array of proposals come through our doors from across the state. We received 82 proposals. The trustees selected the Louise Wells Cameron Art Museum as one of its 10 grantees. ZSR believes that art can serve as a place for people to engage in important, even difficult, and courageous conversations about a community's past, present, and future. At a time of national reckoning regarding what is commemorated in the public square, honoring the incredible history of the U.S. colored troops at the Battle of Forks Road is timely and vital to understanding ourselves as North Carolinians. So then, indeed, the foundation is honored to be a small part of honoring people and who all are connected to them, who fought for a country that did not fully embrace them, who fought for people like me, who fought for the idea of a country that they could only dream of if they stretched their imaginations beyond perhaps even the bounds of reasonableness. The foundation is proud to partner with the museum on this initiative and to celebrate the tremendous contributions of all who have gathered to make this project a reality. We are humbled by the amazing talent of the artist Stephen Hayes, inspired by the sensitivity that he brought to this work, particularly the casting of the faces of descendants of the U.S. colored troops, reenactors, and U.S. veterans. We are moved inspired, and encouraged by how he has come together to honor such a significant and important part of our history. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much for all you have done for this community and for North Carolina. And remember, freedom is never free. Thank a veteran. Today, through this wonderful exhibit, we thank the U.S. colored troops, important veterans of this country.
I know y'all are getting anxious. I want to see the sculpture too. It's my pleasure now to introduce artist Stephen Hayes. an artist who we have been honored to work with over the past 2.5 years. Stephen teaches at Duke University and is the recipient of the 1858 Prize for Contemporary Southern Art from the Gibbs Museum in Charleston, among others. Stephen is a talented rising star in American art, a thoughtful creator whose work is both emotive and intelligent. Please help me to welcome artist Stephen Hayes.
I want to thank you all for coming out here. Good morning. We're running back and forth. For those of you who know me, y'all know I'm a man of like 3 words. I'd rather have my artwork speaks for itself. But I'm truly honored to have been able to create Boundless. I'm not speaking out loud enough. Okay, he's right. I wasn't speaking loud enough. I'm truly honored to have been able to create the sculpture Boundless. To honor the men who fought bravely here, who marched through here. It was over 2,000 soldiers. So to be able to create something like this is truly a blessing for me and an honor for me to create. I want to thank everyone who supported me creating this, all of the reenactors who helped, I guess, allow me to cast their bus. I want to say thank you. I'm not going to prolong it any longer. So I want to call some of the reenactors to help me unveil this monument. All right.
This morning's ceremony will be unveiled by representatives from every regiment of the U.S. Colored Troops with us this weekend. That is to include Battery B, United States Colored Light Artillery, the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry, Regiment 1, Company 1, USCT 35th Regiment, 37th USCT African American Museum, Kinston, Hannibal's Guard, and the Ohio 5th USCT Company C. The unveiling concludes with Sergeant Major Milton Murray Holland placing the Ohio 5th Regimental flag into the hands of his own likeness. Sergeant Major Holland was a Medal of Honor recipient by the United States government who fought victoriously right here at the Battle of Forks Road. Thank you all. Thank you.
Turned out great. Did you see our parade up there? Yeah. Steven. Ready?
Oh, thank you so much.
There you go. Absolutely. here whenever.
I bet it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes in the beginning. Steven. Like, totally ignored me. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah.
Have you got to see it?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah, I want to see it play out.
Yeah.